As a person who speaks English as my second language, I have a habit of collecting slang from different subcultures because I believe learning what languages and vocabulary a group use is the best way to understand their cultural nuances. Today I'm going to share my top 7 favorite slang terms from foodie culture from the viewpoint of an English as a second language speaker. So let's go! I'm Shao Chieh Lo, welcome to What People Also Ask, where I compile some fun fact to share with you, usually by conducting a lot of Googling. Today I will be sharing my 7 favorite foodie culture slang terms with you. I will begin by defining each slang term, then have some fun using them in sentences, and finally I will explore the origin story behind these slangs. Before we dive into the various slangs prevalent in foodie culture, let's kick things off with our first slang, foodie itself. So what does foodie mean, and what is foodie culture? Foodie is an English slang used to describe a person who had a deep passion for food and culinary adventures. Foodie is not just focused on eating to satisfy basic needs or out of convenience, but rather they are deeply interested in exploring various aspects of food. These include experimenting with different cuisine, understanding the art of cooking, appreciating the intricate flavor and texture of food, and seeking out unique and high-quality dining experiences. Foodies often enjoy discovering new restaurants, tasting exotic dishes, and learning about the cultural and historical aspect of various cuisines. Let's use this English slang in sentences. Ever since Jake became a foodie, his spice rack expanded more than his social media following. At the potluck, Sarah's foodie instinct kicked in, and she could guess every secret ingredient in the casserole. I knew I was a true foodie when I started planning my vacation around restaurants rather than landmarks. Where the English slang foodies came from. The term foodie originated in early 1980s and is attributed to several sources. New York writer Gael Greene is credited with first using the term in the Restaurant Review in New York Magazine in 1980s. During this time, food was often portrayed as gourmet and exclusive in the media. The term wasn't initially recognized by the everyday citizen, and it was used in more exclusive circles. Additionally, food journalist Paul Levy has been credited with coining the term foodie in 1981 article for Harper's Magazine. Levy has been vocal about his role in popularizing the term. Together, these references indicate the term foodie emerged as a way to describe a burgeoning interest in diverse and quality food, distinct from the elite and exclusive connotation of gourmet dining. The term has since evolved to broadly denote someone with an avid interest in food, encompassing a wide range of culinary experiences and knowledges. What does gastronaut means? A gastronaut is an English slang word describing someone who is especially adventurous in their eating habits, often seeking out new, exotic, and sometimes unusual culinary experiences. This term combines gastronomy, the practice or art of choosing, cooking, and eating good food, with astronaut, a person who travels in space, suggesting a sense of exploration and adventure in the realm of food. Let's use this English slang in sentences. Linda's gastronaut adventure led her to a tiny cafe in Italy, where she discovered the best travel pasta in the galaxy. As a self-proclaimed gastronaut, Mike's idea of a perfect weekend is to try every food truck in the city. For her birthday, Emma, an avid gastronaut, asked for a word map, not for travel, but to pin and track the origin of her favorite dishes, where the English slang gastronaut came from. The term gastronaut is believed to have been coined by British celebrity chef Keith Floyd, who was renowned for his unconventional and captivating cooking style. Floyd, who passed away in 2009, charmed millions of viewers around the world, not just with his culinary skill, but also with his endearing eccentricities. He was recognized for his signature bow tie and was known for engaging in light-hearted banter with his film crew, while sipping wine during his cooking shows. This unique approach, where he often drank wine while cooking, added a humorous and relaxed element to his television appearances. This behavior not only became a staple of his shows, but also influenced other celebrity chefs to adopt a more easygoing style in their own cooking presentations. Floyd was known for taking his cooking escapade beyond the confines of a studio kitchen, venturing into diverse and sometimes challenging environments to showcase his culinary talents. One memorable episode featured him cooking on a small boat amidst rough sea, wine glass still firmly in hand. exemplify his adventure and spirited approach to cooking. His boldness and willingness to explore and cook in unusual settings likely inspired the creation of the term gastronaut, reflecting an adventurous spirit in culinary exploration, akin to an astronaut venturing into space. What does food desert mean? A food desert is an English slang word used to describe a geographic area, often in urban regions, where residents have limited access to affordable and nutritious food, particularly fresh fruit and vegetables. These areas are typically underserved by grocery stores and supermarkets, forcing residents to rely on convenience stores or fast food restaurants that offer fewer healthy options. Let's use it in sentences. If you think my kitchen is barren, you should see the food desert in my neighborhood. The closest thing to a vegetable is a potato chip. Living in a food desert, Jenny joked that she might as well start planting carrots in the park. Mark called his apartment a gourmet food desert because the only thing he could cook was instant noodles. Where the English slang food desert came from. The English slang food desert was coined in the early 1990s and has its root in the Western Scotland. According to Britannica, it was initially used to describe the poor access to nutritious food experienced by residents of a public housing development in Scotland. The term was specifically designed to highlight areas where residents have limited or no access to affordable and healthy food options, a situation that can exist in both rural and urban settings. Further, a report by researcher Cumming and McIntyre states that the resident of public housing in Western Scotland is supposedly the one who originally coined the more specific phrase food desert in the early 1990s. The phrase was then officially used in the 1995 document from a policy working group on the low-income project team of the UK Nutrition Task Force. This history underlines the term initially associated with socioeconomic challenges and the complexity of urban planning and community development. This origin story reflects the term's root in socioeconomic and geographic discussions, particularly focusing on access to nutritious food and disadvantaged or underserved communities. What does food porn mean? Food porn is a colloquial English slang term used to describe highly appealing or visually arresting images of food, often captured in a manner that emphasizes the dish's aesthetic appeal, richness, and indulgence. These images are usually designed to create a craving or desire for the food depicted. Similar to how pornography stimulates sexual desire, food porn is often found in cookbook, advertisement, blog, and social media, where high-quality photographs of tantalizing dishes are shared to entice viewers. Let's use it in sentences. Ever since I started following gourmet food blogs, my Instagram feed has become an endless scroll of food porn. For food photographers, capturing the perfect shot of a melting chocolate cake is the ultimate food porn moment. The food porn on the cooking shows is so mesmerizing, it makes me want to lick the screen. Where the English slang food porn came from. The term food porn is widely recognized as having been coined by feminist critic Rosalind Coward in her 1984 book, Female Desire. Coward used the term to draw parallel between the portrayal of food in media and objectification inherent in pornography. The phrase was initially a critique, highlighting how food presentation in media often omit the process of production, focusing instead on creating visually appealing finished product. The concept was linked to notions of servitude and the idea that preparing and presenting food beautifully is a form of expressing affection through service. Over time, the term evolved away from its critical connotation to become the mainstream phrase used to describe visually stunning and appetizing food presentations. Today, food porn is commonly used in more neutral or even positive sense, particularly in the context of social media and marketing, where it denotes images of food designed to be exceptionally appealing and to stimulate desire and appetite. The transformation reflects the changing attitude toward both food presentation and media consumption in contemporary culture. What does foodgasmic mean? Foodgasmic is a playful English slang word combining food and orgasmic, used to describe an intensely pleasurable or ecstatic experience of tasting food. It implies that food is so delicious it elicits a reaction comparable to sexual climax. The term is often used informally to convey extreme satisfaction and enjoyment derived from eating exceptionally good food. It's a hyperbolic way of expressing that The food is beyond delicious, often implying that the flavor and texture of the dish has combined to create an unforgettable culinary experience. Let's use it in sentences. The first time I tried authentic Japanese sushi in Tokyo is a truly Foodgasmic experience. Our trip to Paris was full of Foodgasmic moments, each croissant better than the last. The Foodgasmic sensation when you try Mount apple pie after being away from home for months is unmatched. Where the English slang Foodgasmic came from. The English slang word Foodgasmic originates from the blend of word food and orgasmic. It suggests a pleasurable and euphoric feeling of satisfaction during the consumption of particularly amazing and delicious food. The suffix gasm in this and similar words like eargasm or infogasm doesn't replicate the original meaning of orgasm, but convey a sense of excitement or enthusiasm produced by the first element of the blend. This linguistic adaptation creates new meaning in various contexts, including the culinary world. Foodgasm, by extension Foodgasmic, emerged in the early 2000s, reflecting the evolving language around food experience. This term is now commonly used to casual context to describe food that provides intensely satisfying taste and experience. What does Gourmet Ghetto mean? Gourmet Ghetto is an English slang word referring to urban neighborhood renowned for their cluster of upscale, innovative food establishment, a term originating from North Berkeley, California. This area, celebrated for their gourmet artisanal dining options, often emphasize locally sourced and sustainable ingredients. While symbolizing culinary excellence and innovation, the term also suggests elitism and pretentiousness. It implies exclusivity and high cost, making this area desirable for food connoisseurs and those who seeking high status through trendy dining experience, yet potentially inaccessible for those with limited budgets. Let's use it in sentences. In Gourmet Ghetto, even the water claims to be handcrafted from an ancient secret spring. I lost my way in Gourmet Ghetto. I couldn't see past the artisanal bread tower and overpriced organic salad. Let's go to Gourmet Ghetto and watch our bank balances disappear faster than a plate of organic grass-fed beef carpaccio. Where the English slang Gourmet Ghetto came from. The English slang term Gourmet Ghetto, which emerged in Berkeley, California in the 1970s, encapsulates both culinary innovation and touch of elitism. It originated in the North Strata neighborhood, a hub of pioneering and high-quality eateries. This area, between Harvest Avenue and Rose Street, is significant in the history of California cuisine and American eating habits. It's where Alice Waters initiated the farm-to-table movement with the opening of Chez Panisse in 1971. And where Alfred Pete introduced specialty coffee 5 years earlier. The Cheeseboard Collective, a cooperative business in this area, also contributed to a novel restaurant business model. Regarding the term's origin, the theory suggests that San Francisco Chronicle columnist Herb Kahn coined it. However, it is unlikely, as there is no written record of Kahn using the term. A more credible originator is Alice Kahn, a Berkeley humorist and columnist for the East Bay Express and later the Chronicle. Kahn's deep association with Berkeley and the Gourmet Ghetto lent way to this theory, and the restaurant The Cheeseboard Collective credit her with inventing the term. However, the term has been criticized for its elitist connotation, with prominent figures like Alice Waters describing gourmet as exclusive and suggestive of a certain socioeconomic background. The stand-up comedian Daryl Henriquez also reportedly used the term in comedy skit, poking fun at the neighborhood's upscale establishment. What does food snobs mean? Food snobs is an English slang term used to describe a person who exhibits a high and sometimes pretentious level of attention to the quality, preparation, and presentation of food. This term is generally applied to individuals who have very particular, often highbrow taste in food, and who might look down on more common or popular food choices. A food snob is not just someone who enjoys good food. They are perceived to take their passion to an extreme, often expressing disdain for what they consider inferior food or culinary practices. Let's use it in sentences. My food snob cousin refused to eat pizza unless it's baked in wood fire oven from Naples. Our food snob friend insists to call spaghetti pasta al dente with heirloom tomato reduction. I told my food snob brother that I like boxed wine, and he hasn't spoken to me since. Where the English slang food snob came from. The specific origin of the English slang term food snob is not easily traceable in the historical context of the word snob. Originally, snob in the early 19th century referred to a person not belonging to upper classes. while not an aristocrat. It then evolved to mean one who blatantly imitate, fondly admire, and vulgarly seeks association with those he regards as his superiors. The term food snob is likely emerged from this context, applied to those who shows a pretentious or elitist approach to food, but its exact origin in relations to food is not clearly documented. Well, there you have it. These are the top 7 foodie slang terms, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. Feel free to share your favorite foodie slang and jargon that I might have missed. And if you are keen to exploring more trivia and discovering diverse subculture, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye!